Not the door, and not the wall, but post that holds them both in place, that forms a frame above the sill, and turns a hinge to open space. Not the knob, and not the lock, and not the deadbolt barring theft, but anchor point to give them stock, or grant release when greeting guests. Not the world, and not the hall, not in or out, but in between, for only moments seen in full when passing through from scene to scene. Not the branch or holy charm that brings God's gifts or turns their wrath, but place to hang these icons' mark and show their power to all who pass. Comes the herald of the highest, not as raider nor as lord, but as salesman, sneak, or vagrant, knocking at the doorway's post.
Though Father Zeus may thunder, and Apollo lead in song, and Poseidon's waves crash loudly on the shore, each tide eventually lowers, and the singer takes a pause, and the steady winds will push along each storm. Hermes never shouts the loudest, nor demands to hold the lead, but his speech fills all the spaces in between. From the whispering of the forest to the humming of the bees, through the tumult of the ever-traveling winds. While Athena teaches wisdom, and Hecate trades for magics, and the polymathic muses tutor arts. Art requires mastering systems, and a witch must work in silence, and the voices of the wise must sometimes pause. Hermes shares an endless torrent, never starving us for knowledge, though there's likely tricks and traps within his phrasing. All we need to do is listen to the birds and leaves and waters to acquire his boundless flood of information. Ares calls us all to battle, Dionysus shares a toast, and Aphrodite sends us charms to share with lovers. But we're all too often single, left to party all alone, and a warrior's throat or ears may not endure. Hermes speaks when all is silent, even when the world is stilled, and there's no one else around for conversation. In the thumping of our hearts and in the rushing of our blood, his roar pours forth, destroying isolation.
Angels we have seen in art, haloed crowns and feathered wings, sometimes only eyes or clouds, voices speaking sacred things. But every heavenly messenger passing on the words of gods can be titled Angelos. We're just used to certain sorts. Hermes is an angel too, wings upon his heels and head, speaking for the gods above, words of wisdom, love, or dread. Where some heavens need a host to herald them to humankind, two can suit Olympus needs, Iris bright and Hermes sly. Heed him if he comes to call, hearing all he has to say, noting he's a god himself, and not just spirit, imp, or fey. What knows the god of diplomats of bloody striving war? What use is he on battlefields, save carting off the souls? He does not lead nor hold the line, nor often wield his sword, nor even taunt or terrify by cutting with a word. But far from battles in the field, a war is fought in chambers, with strategies and allies forged that alter battle's numbers. And couriers and espionage can boost the strength of soldiers through guidance to avoid the worst of battle's many dangers. Strength and speed and quicker wit give aid to every guardian, plus foresight for the wise who read the gods' provided omens. And though he may not strike or shout or guide a wielded weapon, reason, caution, and restraint improve a fighter's fortunes. And yes, when soldiers fail and fall, the guide greets each as hero. Though troops may be disposed in hordes, the herdsman knows their value. And those who've died for others' lives, the god gives special stature, for as a lover of our kind, he sorrows at our slaughter.